Hello people. I'm daxim from PLPW, and before I start, I want to acknowledge you. I see no one else has brought his towel for this special day. Today is Towel Day. This is a very nice thing for travelers on Earth. For example, if you get stuck in the torrential rains of Warsaw, and you can dry yourself. This is one of the many uses of a towel, so always bring it with you. So my talk is going to be about Perl5i, project and Perl module. You can download it CPAN on the usual address, and this I at the entry form. Imaginary or perhaps improved, and this is a collection of software, and this talk is about what you can do with it. So this is the brainchild of Schwern, who had the idea and did most of the work for the implementation. And also this talk is completely ripped off, so he did it before and I'm going to repeat it. And so let's have a look. So the point of the whole thing is that you get a nice Perl5 with the same defaults, unlike the original thing. It bundles a lot of CPAN modules, which allow you to write less boilerplate code. And boilerplate means code which is some lines of code which is necessary to achieve something, and some sort of best practices. And this is your one-stop shop for everything. Okay. So let's have a look at the code example. This is how we would write in the Perl510 era. Let's have a look at what the code does. So we have a subroutine here, gets a file name, we open a file name and do the error checking and write out the error message if there was one. And then we print to the file some timestamp, add a new line, close the file, error checking again, and return. So in this kind of timestamp, we also need another subroutine. So we pass in a time or use the system time if there wasn't one, and then we get the date from that with the date conversion. And we must not forget to add 1 to the month because it starts with 0, and add 1 to the year because it's defined that way. And then we format what we just got as a result and put out the timestamp, year, month, day, and the time with a T in between. And with Perl5i, it's just that short. So you see already some major differences. We can leave away the error checking. Convenience functions are already built in. And we get some, instead of the sub keyword, we have the func keyword, and we get some function parameters like in other languages, which is sadly still missing in pure Perl. So the exception handling, what was just left away, instead of checking every open, close, and the other built-ins. So instead of handling that yourself, you just use the original command, and you don't need to repeat yourself all the time because the error checking is implicit throughout the die. It knows already that one should use it. Check it out. This is also part of the Perl core distribution. And then also you will get a nice and sane error message, probably better than what you have written yourself, because it also tells you where it was and check the error message and so on and so on. So as I said before, this not only works for open and close, but all the built-ins, all that is passed through a system called will raise an exception if something goes wrong, and then you can handle it instead of doing it manually all the time. So yeah, and then instead of using eval or this sort of idiom, you can use nicer keywords. This is provided by try-tiny. You see, when I said in the talk abstract, this is the best of CPAN. Then I did not mean some sort of module where let's imagine a programmer who comes from a different programming language and says, okay, where's the database stuff? And then you will tell him, yeah, use DBAX class, that's our main or a module. Okay, this kind of knowledge is easy to provide. This is like hidden knowledge or tribal knowledge, which does not pass around easily. So instead, the books teach use eval for exception handling, but with try-tiny you get more than that. For example, you do not run afoul with some bugs in Perl before 5.14. Well, those are going to fall out of fashion soon. It's not a big thing, but usually the modules work all better than the built-in stuff. So anyway, Perl5i also enables the Perl510 stuff and so on. So you get these kind of keywords, and you can use all of that by default with just one line in the beginning. So in the result, this means since you do not need to remember so much to put boilerplate, use module to improve your Perl5. In the beginning, you write better code by default. It's much easier to, since it is much easier to write the correct thing, it will come out better. Yeah, objects. Okay, among the Perl programming paradigms and Perl, there's of course object orientation. And Perl is technically an object-oriented language because many parts in the Perl core, all the modules which are shipped there, are still very much procedural, and you will find not much object orientation there. This is mostly due to the fact that they are very old, and when Perl5 came out originally, people were not much used to it, and since then, no one wanted to improve it. So instead of the built-in, no, not instead of the built-ins. The built-ins are changed. They are replaced with some object-oriented equivalents. For example, instead of these built-in date functions, you get the datetime module. You can call all the methods which are documented in this module. And instead of the stat and POSIX get something blah functions, you get these modules which are also part of the Perl core. So have been shipped since years or decades even, and people rarely use them because it's not easy to see that they are there. So Perl5i is also bringing them up, and as I said before, when you enable this one line, you get all of that. And yeah, I had the example with the date handling. Don't forget to add here. This is the legacy C interface, which does the date handling like that. And Perl passes just through. Actually, this one interface where local time returns an array of lots of stuff is even worse than what C has, because C allows you to call it by name with a struct. So this goes away, and instead of local time, then you get an object, and you can call all these stuff with accessors, and don't need to remember the exact position or look it up every time in the documentation. So an example like that, local time gives you an object, and then you call it a year method, and then again this is a string, and then it will be chained through. You can call the same method on each string, and it will be printed. And it works also with that time. And all of that overloaded, replaced to do the right thing. Also, the old behavior does not go away in certain contexts. For example, if you say this way, then it will still stringify like the old behavior did. No, in this context, you got the list of result links, and in the string scalar context, you got the stringification of the timestamp. And yeah, this is still there if you need it. And another example was with the stat system call. As I said before, you get the accessors for that kind of stuff. So, oh, what did I do now here? So, good. And also other built-ins like caller. There's a special Perl module called Perl6 : caller. which will give you an object for where you are in the program and so on. Yeah, and idioms. So this is also some kind of tribal knowledge. People pass around snippets and teach each other. Yeah, this is how you turn on the hot pipe, the auto flush for the selected handle. So, and this is usually a sign of a design mistake in the language where several things are needed to do just one thing. So to make it easier, you give it a name, and actually Perl has already a name. So with when you use Perl5i, you get also IO handle loaded, which was not available before 5.14. You can just say, here is my file handle, call a method autoflush on it, and enable it. Much more easier. Or you can't even remember how it works. Yeah. So now the thing that has been also in the Perl core since forever, or hardly anyone uses it because yeah, it's not exposed, not switched on, except for 5.14 and above. But still, the older Perls are not going away so soon. I mean, Debian has just upgraded now. The stable release that came out this month is Perl 5.14, and the stable one is 5.18. Has anyone already compiled 5.18 so far? Yeah. Okay. So objects, everything is an object. You can even call methods on literal values like that. This is also not done by Perl5i itself. It brings in another module which is called Autobox and Autobox Core, and it will provide you with all kinds of instead of the built-in operators and functions, you use method calls like you are probably used to from other languages, Ruby and Python, notably do it the same way. And it should be much easier that way because it allows for easy chaining from left to right. And you get also some more kind of convenience functions which are not in Perl core, and they were just added because it's easy to add them. So for comparing arrays and hashes, not a problem. Yeah, and yeah, as I said, it's easy. They are cheap to add because when you want to add a keyword in Perl, this means that since beginning from then, it's not available anymore for anything else. If you would use a subroutine with the same name, you would override it. So this is kind of a namespace clash. Or when you call methods on objects, that won't happen. You won't have a clash, namespace clash that way. Let's consider some very simple thing. For many years, people are always asking the same question. Yeah, how do you trim a string in Perl? So remove the white space at the left and at the right side. And there's no built-in for that. Every other language has a built-in, and now we also have it for Perl5. When you use Perl5i, you just call a method to do that. And yeah, as I said before, if you want to use it, if you want to add this as a keyword in Perl, and you actually need to dive into the C source code, change things at least 2 different places, and it's a ridiculous difficult thing. Also because you do not want to break backward compatibility, and you don't have this problem anymore. And an object, and method, I mean, is very easy to add. You just open the source code where it says, yeah, here we are dealing with arrays, and make another subroutine, which comes in a method call, very easy to do. So, yeah. Yeah, this is probably what the Perl FAQ says somewhere. This is the standard answer. Yeah, use 2 regular expressions to remove the white space at the end and at the beginning and return the string. And Perl5i just looks like that. And as I said, because it's so easy to add trim functions, let's just have one for the left and the right side only. So aliasing, that's another thing which you need for some advanced things. Let's imagine we have some code ref, and we want to give it a name, then you have to disable strict because we're messing with a symbol table, and this is all very ugly syntax, difficult to remember, and of course you could use a Perl module again, but Perl5i does nothing else. It gives you, it hides all that and gives you also a name for that, so you can call the alias method on the code ref and then give it a name, and then this one is then available under this package and method name. So it was difficult before, easy. And all the stuff, a lot of the Perl MQ have been ported to Perl5i, where before it said, yeah, to achieve what you want to do, you have 3 different ways to do it, and here's how you could possibly achieve it. And I want to pick out one example. For example, somewhere in there is the frequently asked question, how do we determine whether what I have is a number or not? Or what kind of number? And then it says, assuming you don't care about blah 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 and so on, you want to probably use a regular expression, and then so you're supposed to copy paste that into your code. And when you use Perl5i, the equivalent is just like that. What was difficult before, you get a small, easy to remember convenience method to achieve what you want to do. Where's my timekeeper? Oh, I don't have one. One when I go over time now. Okay, and dereferencing. Okay, that became easier in 5.14 since then you can push and so on to references and will automatically dereference, but if you're still stuck on old Red Hat and whatever and have Perl512 or something like that, it's still very difficult to write with that ugly syntax. So push and then let's dereference this as an array to add an element, or let's get the in scalar context the number of things which was an array ref, we have to dereference it. And again with Perl5i, these are just method calls, everything's an object. So we get the array ref, and the array is not the dumb reference but the smart object, and you can call the push method on it and just put new stuff in it, and all of these are also chainable. Because this one will return then the changed array. Okay, what else? Meta programming. No, actually only meta objected. So it's not like Moose if you know that, but also just only for introspection, a couple of things. So methods which are available for every kind of object, and the design decision was let's not put it on the object itself because it would just pollute the namespace. Let's put some intermediate thing in between first, MO for meta object, and then you call all these let's call it meta methods are available from there. For example, this is stolen from the name is stolen from Perl6. You can give it some object, and then it will be stringified to its dumped representation. So like data dump and so on, these kind of modules is returned by the Perl method. And what else do we have? You can also dump as JSON, or you can have a checksum of your object, what's over the contents with a different algorithm or a different format. And every object has also a unique ID for easier comparison, so you do not need to rely on the stringification thing again, where it says hash parentheses some text address, and even more convenience functions. So just some hash refs, let's compare them if they're equal to each other. Very easy to do. You do not need to use another module for that. Already things which you need often already built in. And this also works for on overloaded objects, because overloaded things in Perl are a bit difficult because the abstraction is not complete. It leaks out a bit. Was difficult before, now very easy solved. It takes into account everything that was necessary to achieve it. Yeah, all this meta stuff is also explained in the documentation. And yeah, let's have another look what you can do with introspection. This is what you need to do to find out the parents, the super class of a a class. Again, for symbol table, Hackery, switch off the strict references, and then let's inspect the isR special variable. And if the people who are coming from other languages see that they want to claw their eyes out. And with Perl5i, you get a meta object method for that, and will give you the inheritance tree, or also linearized with duplicates removed, I think. And some more introspection. You can ask any object, yeah, what kind of methods can I call on you? So function signatures. You have seen that in the beginning. This is like you are used from Pascal, C, whatever, many languages have that. Since Perl was derived to a large part from shell, it does not have function signatures, but you can add it. It's flexible enough, and Perl5i does exactly that. So you have, instead of saying it the old way, shifting or removing the from the global parameter array, you can declare them like here. And this is still some very simple function signature implementation. If you need more, you can also disable that kind of stuff and pull it in another module which gives you more power. For example, music signatures, and then you will even get type checking. But that's not the most powerful modules are not part of Perl5i due to performance considerations. Okay. Yeah, the same thing also works for methods. So you don't say sub, but instead method, and it will also give you the self variable by default. You don't need to create it yourself. Okay. Also for anonymous functions. So if you would like to, if you do some higher order programming. We can also give it a named parameter which is much easier to write than $, underscore, square bracket, blah blah blah, square bracket. Okay. Yeah, and again, the chaining works, so map on works on arrays, and then you give as first parameter the name function, and when you compare this with JavaScript, it looks already very similar. So this is one possibility. If you have some JavaScript programmers in your company, you want to bring them over to Perl, let them have a look at that. This is much more familiar than traditional Perl5i programming. Okay. And also that you can introspect the code ref, and you dangles off to a signature call, and then you can say, yeah, how many parameters does this have, and so on and so on. And some other thing. I also dislike very much this error message. This was one big line, yeah, so I've broken this down now. And I can't count the times where people have asked on forums and so on, yeah, what am I supposed to do now? What does this even mean? It's not so self-evident, but it can be changed because there is code on CPAN that relies on the exact wording. So due to backward compatibility, this is almost difficult to change. I mean, there is even a small fix in carp. Someone submitted a spelling bug fix to the carp core module, where I think a dot was added to a sentence at the end. And this broke code. So you see, it's difficult to do. But Perl5i is a fresh start, so this is ideal for starting new projects. It's not so good to just add Perl5i to an existing code base that will probably break some things. And now anyway, for when you use Perl5i, you will get a much better error message. You may need to install it from CPAN, so it gives you some direction what's actually going wrong and how you can fix it. And also there's not one long string, but you see all the directories are listed one line each. So what else? You get Unicode by default, which you also need to enable in traditional Perl5. Again, due to backwards compatibility, but when you say use Perl5i, then it will be turned on. By default, everything for file handles, for reading stuff from standard in, printing out to standard out. Everything is already automatically decoded, data which comes in, right? Because that's what you expect normally in a UTF-8 environment, and less encoding problems. Yeah, and you need to always add the version number in the name when you load the module, yeah? Because there are regular releases I think once each year or something like that, and they are all incompatible with each other, and that way this is why you really need to tell explicitly the versioning string for stable code. If you're just messing around on the command line or using throwaway code, then you can also just say latest, and it will give you the latest version. Now the thing is, you can these kind of changes which Perl5i does to the language are encapsulated lexically. So when you have the versioning, this means that these can coexist in the same program. When you load some other libraries which have been written during the Perl5i number 1 time, it will not change anything you have done in your code with Perl5i2, because as I've written it down here, these are lexically scoped and do not influence each other, which is really nice. I don't know whether you've seen the YAPC talk, I think 2 years ago. The then pumpkin Obra has proposed a plan how to achieve the backward compatibility and forward compatibility with use 5 something version numbering scheme. Meanwhile, that has fallen through because it's much too complicated to achieve, especially with all the Unicode stuff Perl5 pulls in. But with Perl5i, that works nicely. You get both the backward and forward compatibility because, as I said before, it's all lexically scoped. And efficiency, yeah, I've said this before. Not all the modules are just added right when it looks useful. It's not added right off the bat, but there's always first a measurement. Does Perl5i still start? Does it have a reasonable start time, reasonable execution time, or does it become too slow? So that's also why you do not get moves by default, at least for now. If it's fast enough, then it could also be added. Yeah? And also larger things like datetime, which are useful but very big because of the many tables built into the module. It's only loaded by demand, so you only pay for what you actually use. Another advantage of method calls. Yeah, my personal favorite features. Autobox, as I've shown the example, is for methods. Instead of dereferencing arrays, hash refs, and so on. And you get UTF-8 by default, and yeah, the implicit upgrades are gone. These are the usual sources of encoding problems for beginners. So all of this is available for 5.10 and above, and not only 5.14. And that's it already. I take questions.
What about attributes applied to methods?
Please say again.
What about attributes applied to methods and subroutines? How does it work in your function signature? Can you use it together? I mean, is it possible to use Perl5i with attributes?
So the question was about attributes and whether that still plays nice together with the function signatures change, right?
Can you apply the attributes?
I think it's probably not in there. So if you want to have this kind of nice syntax for Catalyst, there's another module which uses devil declare to give you a nicer syntax, but I forgot its name. It's Catalyst X declare. But there's no reason to that this could not happen in the future. It just needs someone who wants to implement it. Okay. Yeah. Other questions? Yes.
You have said that Perl5i makes everything an object.
Yes.
In effect, making a Perl some sort of pattern. But what are performance considerations? Given that Perl objects are much more expensive than in other languages where object orientation was there from the start.
Yeah, the objects are not expensive, the method calls are. And usually it's not a problem. If you profile your program, you see that the bottlenecks are almost always someplace else, and you start optimizing there and not with the method calls.
Oh, because if every single thing is auto-boxed, were there any measurements? How does it compare to running?
Yes, there are measurements for everything. So you can also just say, instead of Perl5, my program, you can say Perl5i, and you will see that the startup time is almost the same. And auto-boxing does not impact it too much negatively. Not a problem in reality.
And one more question.
Yes.
Are there any plans for some kind of ID integrations? Because it adds its own sort of keywords, sort of other things that are not in the core language. Are there any plans to teach text editors and IDs to recognize those things?
I think there's a bug for that on the issue tracker on GitHub, but no one has done any work for that. Would be useful though. There are not that many changes of new keywords and so on, except for the function signature stuff.
Yes.
But if someone does work on that, it would also benefit everyone else who use different modules which provide function signatures. Or even if it comes in the Perl core in 520 or whatever, then it would be nice if it is ready by then, wouldn't it? So I invite you, if you need this, if you want this, I invite you to contribute. Yeah. Anyone else?
I have a question about migrations. You said it's basically not a very good idea to try to convert existing projects to Perl5i. Does it apply to all cases? Can you imagine that for example, in some cases, we add modules without expecting any problems? Because obviously, if we take an existing module and try to use Perl5i, we can expect some, for example, namespace conflicts. But what if we create new modules?
What did we create new modules for what now?
If we add new modules using Perl5i to existing project.
Okay, this is usually not a problem. You can let me clarify what I said before. You can of course add Perl5i to existing projects if you're careful. Yeah, do not just do it blindly, but again, run your test suite. Test it very much to see whether there are some hidden effects, some hidden side effects. And if you solve these kind of conflicts, if they occur, then it's also not a problem to add it to older code.
I think what the sir meant was, what if I have an existing project, legacy project, so to say. It uses module A. At some point, I decide to upgrade the module A. It says that its interface hasn't changed, and so on. But its author decided at some point to use Perl5i for its things. And then, when my code declares that it uses A, does it automatically pollute my namespace with Perl5i goodies, which are a bit unwelcome?
No. because
It stays there.
it stays in its lexical scope. You can say open curly bracket use Perl5i. So the other code is in its own package, in its own file. This is a scope. So then it ends, and it will not influence something else. If it does, it's a bug. If you notice that, file a bug. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.